So we will be speaking with people today, tonight, and tomorrow who just met the King and Queen. But our next guest probably wins the prize for the most unique experience with the now King Charles.
This video is from north of the Arctic Circle in 1975, when Canadian diver Joe MacInnis went scuba diving under the ice of the Northwest Passage with the future king. After about a half hour, Charles emerged from the freezing water full of good humor.
It's very interesting indeed, I must say. Bloody cold. Can I give me that? What? Well, I tell you, we put the air in here, you see, and if you now do a measure.
You can see why the British media at the time called him Action Man. So the diver the now king was with is Joe MacInnis. Joe now lives in Toronto. That's where he joins us today. Fantastic to look at those images of your dive with then Prince Charles. Can you just take us back to that moment and talk about what that was like?
Well, it was a life-changing event for me. I was 38. I had been asked by the government to arrange the dive, and I was, to be honest, very concerned because of the risks and the uncertainty about his ability. He was not familiar with the suit, but he was determined.
So I see you standing there, Joe. I feel like you have something you want to show us.
I have something I want to show you. First of all, this is the suit that he wore. This
Amazing.
is 50 years ago. He wore this suit. And these gloves were important because the coldest part of the diver is the hands and the face. And he also wore this shield for his face to protect the skin from frostbite. Again, he was so fascinated with, there were three reasons why he wanted to go. First, he was intensely curious about the edge of the known world, which it was going under the ice. And he also wanted to test himself to see if he had the right bright stuff to do this. And then he had this sense, he told me, about wanting to connect. And it was interesting in the previous discussion about the blue tree, that he wanted to connect with the waters that the 19th century British sailors had sailed through in the search for the Northwest Passage. So he was determined to go, and we made a 30-minute dive. It started very gently. He had some problems with the suit.
Sure.
Because he was having difficulty in balancing the air in, air out. He bumped his head against the ice a couple of times, but he was very calm. He had this kind of royal resolve to make sure that he would solve the problems very quietly. And of course, when you're underwater, you can't talk. So the only way I could really discern how he was doing was to see the air bubbles coming out of his regulator, to look at his eyes, and to watch the body language. And his eyes were locked onto mine, and he was very calm and sorted it out. And so we headed west we went west, and the first thing we saw was this stalactite of ice. It looked like an icicle hanging from the undersurface of the ice. And keep in mind that the ice was a fathom thick, and inside the stalactite were small creatures, amphipods, and he looked at them, and there was this sense for me of a kind of reciprocity. He was totally committed to trying to understand what was going on with these ice lovers living inside the ice. And it was almost as if he was a man with 3 eyes, 2 in his head and 1 in his heart. And that brings us back to this, what you just mentioned about the blue beech tree and his love of the natural world. So we got to this shore fast ice, and here is where the polar pack crushes up against the shore, and big blocks are formed, and they're twisted and have bizarre shapes, and they confirm the power of the ice to press against a wooden ship and break through the hull and sink the ship. Mm-hmm. And this is what he was interested in trying to find out more about. So it was an extraordinary experience to be with him and watch the intensity of his attention to the environment. And
Joe,
I have to tell you, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, just at the end of the dive, I decided, I knew he had a sense of levity, so I wanted to try it. And so I got him to stay in one position, and I ducked down and picked up 2 objects that I had put on the seafloor on a practice dive. And I'm going to show you now.
Oh,
I had a bowler hat and an umbrella. And at first, when I saw him, his eyes went wide, and I thought, oh my God, he thinks I've gone crazy. But no, I heard laughter. I heard this laughter in the water, this and then I thought, oh my gosh, he's going to swallow the Arctic Ocean. But no, he got into the spirit of the time. And he took the hat off, took the bowler hat off, and then the umbrella. And I watched him as he headed up towards the ice hole, looking like Mary Poppins in the Flying Nanny scene. And then, as you saw in the video, he came outside the tent and had this extraordinary experience, again, of levity. A man really in charge of the moment, making fun of himself and having just a good time because of the dive and the success.
What an extraordinary experience. Here I was thinking that you were about to tell me about what it was like for him, but I feel like the experience you had was equally as precious, and good on you. That is fantastic. And thank you for the show and tell today. Those are great.
Well,
that is
a great pleasure, and it's been fun listening to your show and what you're doing at the great celebration of the moment of the folks in Ottawa. So
indeed,
it's been an honor to be a part of this.
Joe MacInnis, thank you very much, sir.